users and established key partnerships with Daystar, the ICT Authority, Ajira Digital Program, KEPSA, and the MasterCard Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Mr. Ian Muthoni. Let us appreciate. Oh, you're here. Thank you. Asante sana. You can have a seat. Fantastic. Coming as panelist number 2, ladies and gentlemen, is a learning and skills specialist working with the Microsoft Education team in Africa. His role entails working with ministries of education and institutions of higher learning to support them build a digital transformation strategy and empower students, educators, and ICT staff with the relevant skills, support the transformation, and prepare the students with future ready skills. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Gaiku. Makofi yake. Thank you very much. Panelist number 3. Umesikia hizo titles wewe. I've told you the panelist is quite heavy, so you better be attentive. So, he is an entrepreneur and environmentalist with a bachelor's in environmental studies from the Kenyatta University. As the founder and CEO of the Uamuzi Foundation, he champions the rights of marginalized groups by using technology to drive social change. His innovative social network platform connects youth with elected representatives, promoting active civic education. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis Sitati. Makofi ya Elvis Sitati. Thank you very much. Coming in as panelist number 5, a digital economy and AI researcher at Kala, I hope I pronounced it well, where he drives innovation across Africa. With over 5 years of experience, he has collaborated with organizations like the Kenya School of Government and the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Currently pursuing an MA in Diplomacy, Development, and International Security at Daystar University. Fantastic. Joshua is passionate about enhancing human-computer interactions and promoting Africa leadership in the 4th Industrial Revolution. Also, his tech ecosystem, including influential reports and masterclass on AI. Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Baru. Thank you very much. And of course, we'll have a student in the panelist, a student representative, and that is none other than Tyrese. Wapi makofi ya Tyrese? Tumpigie makofi jameni. Gonna be joining the panel as well. Makofi ya Tyrese wewe. All right. And now, last but not the least, I'd like to introduce the moderator of the panel, and that is none other than Mr. John Deritu. So John Deritu, wapi makofi ya John Deritu? Tumpigia makofi. Hakukuletea kiti woi, pole. We ni Gen Z. Okay, one more time, wapi makofi ya John Deritu and the rest of the panelists. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you again to this panel discussion. And you can carefully see, and I wanted to say hello to our online viewers. You have online viewers who are watching us from YouTube. And we hope this is going to be an enlightening session where we are going to get insights from people who have journeyed the journey that you are currently doing. And we hope that this is going to be an insightful session. I'll start first of all by giving my panelists like 5 seconds to introduce themselves again and what they do, and then we'll kick off with the questions. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. I did mentorship early this year in Daystar during the Health Prize competition, so it's just nice to be back to do a broader session. So my name is Elvis Sitati. I'm the founder and CEO of Uamuzi Foundation. So Uamuzi Foundation is a social enterprise where we are advocating for social justice among the youth, the women, and the persons living disabilities, just to give them an equal social, economic, and political right. And for this, we've developed our own social media platform in Uamuzi. So basically with the platform, we are giving the youth, Gen Z, na pia millennial, a safe space where they can freely express their thoughts, their ideas, and their concerns at every level of governance. Thank you.
Hello, Daystarians. So it's good to be back here again. I was here remotely with Elvis. We were mentoring together on the Daystar Halt Prize program. And this place is amazing. My name is Ian Mudomi. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Vision Drill. So we basically equip 24 to 35-year-olds for job readiness. Hata kama uko 18 ama 19, it's still good. So we equip for job readiness and we link you with job opportunities. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Joshua Faru is my name. I'm a digital economy researcher. So at Kala, where I work for, I bridge technology and development. So our question is, how can Africa be a key player in the fourth industrial revolution? From digital transformation to artificial intelligence to Internet of Things, anything tech, we are there. And our goal is very simple, to make sure that our people have jobs and have food on their table. Very simple, and we believe that tech is an enabler towards that. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Joe Gaiku. I'm a learning and skills specialist at Microsoft Education. And at Microsoft, we have one single motto: to empower every student to achieve more. And how this looks like is empowering you, the students, to have all the skills and readiness to be able to integrate directly into the workspace, be it a career, be it entrepreneurship, be it ideation and innovation. This will actually give you we aim to give you the opportunity to be ready so that industry does not reskill students who are joining the environment, but the students come readily skilled with all the required industry certifications, with all the required experience with industry technologies and solutions, so that once you graduate, you are ready for work. And we'll be able to talk more about this even through this session. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyra Stendwa. I am a third-year student doing applied computer science, currently the vice president of DITA. I look forward to interacting with you more during the session.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's our panel today. And as you have seen, we have selected some of the best minds out there so that you can also see that wherever situation that you are in right now, whether you're in your first year or your fourth year, there are people that you can look up to towards forging your journey. This question goes to Mr. Joe. You mentioned you were in the digital transformation space, especially in the education space. So my first question is, what challenges do you see institutions like Daystar University, facing when trying to implement digital transformation strategies? So you know about the old form of education you've been having in institutions. With the current rise of technology, institutions need to embrace digitalization when equipping their young people. But from your perspective, what challenges do you see institutions facing, and what are some of the possible solutions we can embrace? Thank you.
I like that question because it starts us off with the right foundation. The foundation being, how do we implement digital transformation, especially in the education sector? One of the challenges that we have seen very clearly across ministries and institutions of higher education across Africa, and even from a global standpoint, is the first challenge is leadership, right? The leadership needs to be able to build policy, strategy, and a shared vision to what digital transformation looks like. And part of it is what we're seeing today. With the rise of artificial intelligence, a lot of institutions of higher learning are either one, unaware of what to do with artificial intelligence in the school and within the classroom, or two, banning it altogether because we don't understand how it can be utilized beneficially. So from a strategic point of view, and an institution is able to identify, this is where our students are, this is where we need to take them, and this is what the industry is demanding of us to prepare our students for, then we can be able to come up with a digital transformation strategy. At Microsoft, we were able to develop the education transformation framework, which looks at 4 key pillars We look at leadership and change management because that's another challenge. We look at school and student success. How does the institution prepare the educators, the ICT faculty, ICT teams, the faculties to be able to drive this digital transformation? We look at intelligent environments, and something that I noticed is when you're going to a cafeteria, you are swiping to access lunch. So that means there's intelligent systems enabling you to access solutions even within this university. So from a leadership point of view, a holistic framework needs to be reviewed. Once we have that, then we can look at the next main challenge that even we've all often faced across Africa mainly is technology, digital transformation has a cost. The capital cost of accessing devices, accessing connectivity, accessing skilled and trained lecturers to deliver this level of training from industry and onwards. I think that's another area we need to be able to review and see the value in it. But finally, then we look at curriculum, and this is where Microsoft comes very strongly at. Universities have the culture of transforming and updating curriculum around digital transformation, the 5-year journey. Every 5 years, review and update. However, technology is moving way faster than that. There's a student who started Daystar today, and artificial intelligence was not an area of focus. It was something that we discussed in the back end. But now the time they're graduating, industry is only looking for, or do you have artificial intelligence skills? Do you have prompt engineering skills? And you're like, what have my 4 years been about? I feel like I've not touched on this. Should I take another year to catch up with what the world is doing? And so from a Microsoft point, we look at, we are the industry. We know the skills we need. And Microsoft has heavily invested in education to prepare curriculum content that teachers can be able to utilize and train students even as technology keeps transforming and adopting.
Amazing insights right there. And I think one of our students today in the bus was asking, I'd like to do robotics, but there's no robotic hardware to test out his skills. And maybe we can strike a conversation after this to see how Microsoft can partner with Daystar to ensure you have adequate, to see how we can help each other in that regard. Mr. Muthomi, platform bridges skills and job market gaps. So my question is, what trends are you seeing in the type of skills that are in the highest demand today, especially with what we are doing? Skills are really needed out there to flourish as tech people out there. Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, this is good now. So one of the skills is digital marketing that has become very popular, especially with the rise of the Gen Z movement, Maandamano. We have a sales training program that we just introduced, and I noticed that there is a spike in the demand for digital marketing. People are like, are you also offering digital marketing? How do I build brand awareness and get people to buy my products online? So the other one is data analytics. You know, a lot of companies nowadays are data driven or moving towards that direction. And so courses such as Python, Excel, so these are, and SQL. So SQL is for handling databases. Python, for those who don't know, Python is a programming language, and it is used to power AI. Like you see, like ChatGPT, it heavily relies on Python. It's like the backend, the programming language behind it. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. And I'm sure you can relate to what he's saying. Those are the things we do in class every day. These are the things that the industry needs. So you need to put emphasis on that. But we have been talking a lot about AI, and I want to turn my attention to Mr. Joshua Waru. What exactly about the role of AI? I mean, what can AI do in terms of shaping Africa's digital future? And most importantly, how can us as students prepare ourselves to be part of this revolution that we keep hearing about AI and AI? Yeah.
Well, the term artificial intelligence was first coined in 1950 by a guy called John Mackay. So the question is, if it was coined in 1950 up to today, why all the hype today? What was happening since it was formed? So two answers to that. One is data. So AI is built on large amounts of data. So in the past few years, we have seen data coming in daily, large swaths. And you know, AI banks on data. This data is the one that machines are trained on so that they may learn. So there is large amounts of data. Second, there is compute. So compute is there, and so somebody can do so much with little computing infrastructure. So those two things have really brought AI into the fore, and of course ChatGPT being released, being an open access platform. How can we plug in? So for Africa, it's projected that $1.5 trillion will come into the African economy by 2030 because of AI, just artificial intelligence alone. So just to put that into context, the current GDP of Africa is 3 trillion. So can you imagine by 2030 if we tap into the AI magic, $1.5 trillion will be added into the Africa's economy. And as Carla, what we believe is that Africa should be a player in this AI dance, because it currently is not. A lot of money is obviously going to the global north. We have the only supercomputer that we have in Africa is in Morocco, at least by the start of this year. So we have very little power in the AI, but we are training our models. So how students can come in. So I want you to think of an AI ecosystem based on 3 things. So we have trainers, we have explainers, and we have sustainers. So this is one of the things that you can tap into the AI magic. So trainers are those guys who train AI models. If you want to try, I know you mentioned something about robotics. So there's an open access platform, a French company called Hugging Face. I don't know whether you guys know Hugging Face. So all the ChatGPT models that are there, all the Meta Llama AI, Google AI, because Google has been in this space for a very long time. At Hugging Face, you guys can go and teach yourself. As long as you can code, and you can even go on YouTube and teach yourself how to model these machine language models. So trainers. Secondly, explainers. Explainers is what I am doing right now. Explaining, teaching people about AI. And thirdly, sustainers. So sustainers is the civil society aspect of AI, where we are speaking about regulation, we are speaking about policy, so that AI may be an ethical technology that is out there, because we know that in every technology, it reflects human culture, and human culture can be both destructive and constructive. So we need sustainers to actually speak into this AI space and say, hey, if you are to do regulation, we must do it this way and this way. If we must talk about AI, it must be contextualized to the African question, because as I mentioned, a global north AI may not speak directly into African problems, but if we develop our own AI as Africans, we can speak into our own problems. So that's why we need trainers, you guys, to go out there and learn about modeling AI, come up with your own genius solutions, explain these things to everybody, evangelize the gospel of AI, because it is here with us, and thirdly, form a civil society around campaigning and advocating for ethical AI.
Sure. Somebody was asking me, how can I be the Elon Musk of Kenya? I mean, if you are listening to what has been said, I'm sure you picked up a point or two, right? Now, onwards, I know some or most of our online viewers and also the audience are students. And as students, we go through a lot. So I want to turn my attention to Mr. Tyrus. So as a student leader in your space, and of course a future tech professional, how do you inspire your peers to embrace innovation and push the boundaries of technology such as the AI you're talking about? How do you inspire?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. It was once said, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far, walk with others. I think in such a situation, inspiring such a light in someone is more of showing them the way, showing them how it's done, and that is what DITA was created to do. As the vice of DITA, we plan activities that show other students, how to go about trending or emerging technologies, working with AI, working with web development, working with mobile development as it shifts, as it changes, showing them this can be done, and now go out and learn on your own. So that's the current step we're taking.
Okay, Nakini, I have a problem with a lot of Gen Zs. And my problem with Gen Zs ni kutojituma. I'll use that term. So that has been a problem, especially when they are shifting from the campus to the professional field. So is there something that you're currently doing that is supposed to inspire students to get the motivation? Waweze kujituma?
Yes, currently DITA runs a set of tracks with projects on the side, projects varying from web development to mobile development and soon enough AI, where we get to do our own individual projects and come and showcase them to each other. Each of these projects has standards that they're supposed to meet, industry standards, so that you get to learn how things work when you go out there. You get to keep on learning, keep on pushing yourself to do better. And so these are just a few of the projects that we do come up with. Currently, we have an application that's hosted on Play Store that is supposed to enable the students of the school and access the portal, have any changes that they'd like to have, see the timetables that they have, see any courses they've registered for, and that application is not maintained by anyone else other than students. It's up to you to come up with a feature, develop it, push it. We look at it together, we correct where we have to, and we push it and develop it. So as DITA, we want everyone to be able to come together and put something up. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, if I was a student and I'm not part of DITA, I'd make sure I'm part of DITA by the end of this conversation. Now, turning back our attention to what has been happening, especially in the media of this month, we have realized that civic education is quite important. And I wanted to turn my attention to Mr. Sitati, who is really spearheading that, ensuring that as the youth, we get to familiarize ourselves. You know, I was surprised to know that a lot of people did not even vote last election. So many young people struggle to engage civically, right? So what strategies would you recommend to us students and Gen Zs and graduates who want to become more involved in the civic life and community leadership? Of course, I also think that the civic sort of market is still very untapped. What are the opportunities that as students we can get ourselves into in the civic environment? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Before I start, in this group, how many people voted in 2022? By show of hands? Very few. Okay. How many of you have ever attended a public participation forum? One. Sawa. Watu wangapi walikuwa maandamano? Sawa. So maybe I can just start by giving a brief about how we started this project. So back in 2014 when I was still in campus, you know, by that time ndio tulikuwa tu promulgate our constitution, and we realized that most of the time we normally just get to see our leaders during elections. But after elections, we never get to see our leaders. For the next 5 years, hatutoa cheki. Like for example, wali vote 2022, hatutoa cheki hadi 2027. But at the same time, we have one of the most progressive constitutions here in Africa and also globally. And in our constitution, we have clauses like public participation, that is in Article 10, access to information, Article 35, and freedom of expression, that is in Article 33. But unfortunately, when you talk about public participation, we have to go personally in those barazas for us to be able to deliberate on issues that are affecting us. And because of this, we realized very few people get the opportunity to go and participate in such forums. Like you've just seen in this crowd, I've just seen one person mwenye ashaenda ku attend such a forum. And this is because of barriers, such as the distance you have to cover. For example, kama ni student hapa, uambie kuna forum ina happen maybe Machakos town. I'm sure hauta chukua pesa yako kwenda for you to go to that baraza. At the same time, going to that place is time consuming. Lazima uishi huko personally. At the same time, we have barriers like age. Unaweza enda upate in a baraza, you'll not be able to give your opinion because most of the time, older people are normally given priority over sisi majenzi na millennial. At the same time, we have cultural barriers. We have marginalized communities where as a person, you're just there to be seen but not to be heard. Especially when it comes to young women. Unapata madem, wataenda tu hapo manze watachekiwa, but you'll not be given an opportunity to talk. And it's even worse when it comes to disability. Because as a person with disability, you have to go there personally. And when it comes to a young woman who's disabled, and end up facing double discrimination. And we have other barriers like political party affiliation, utambiwa we ni wa hii party, you cannot give your opinion. Religion, utambiwa we ni we sijui ni wa hii religion, you cannot be given a space to talk. So not many people get this opportunity. At the same time, the few people wenye huwa wanapata opportunity ya kwenda kwa hizi baraza, once they leave these barazas and go back to their homes and tell people what was discussed, you realize that this information gets distorted as it moves from one person to the other. Utapata labda muli discuss kitu about finance bill, but huyu mtu akienda kuinterpret ambia watu wengine ataenda waambie other things, and this is what brings about misinformation and disinformation. And at the same time, we have people who are shy. Mtu haizienda asimame mbele ya baraza apatiwe mic ambiwe aseme aweze ku express themselves. So that's why we decided to come up with a digital tool, because now thanks to social media we live in a global village, and we realize that it's only through digital tools that every single person can be able to bring their ideas into the decision-making table. For example, people here in Daystar, I believe what we Daystar, we have young people from all across the country. Now, because now you guys are in Machakos County, kama unatoka place ka Bungoma, you don't expect wewe uende usikize, uende take part in forums zenye zina happen huko Bungoma. Sure. But it's through digital spaces that at your convenience, we mali tu utakuwa, utaweza ku take part in the conversation. So with this, you'll be able to have a meaningful engagement, not just among yourselves, but also with your elected leaders. Because for this engagement to happen, we need young people, but at the same time, we also need our elected representatives. Because Article 1 of our Constitution says, power belongs to the people, and you have to express yourself either directly or through your elected leaders. Sure. So for you to have this engagement, you need also elected leaders. But at the same time, you also need information. Information yenye pia itaweza kukusaidia for you to have a meaningful engagement. And at the same time, a platform where you can freely express yourself. We kama unafanya job hapa, kama uko Daro, kama unasikiza search forums and there's something meaningful that is ongoing, you can be able to use digital tools for you to be able to express yourself without fearing that kuna mtu ataku-object or something. And with this also, one of the things that we're also trying to do is we're also trying to see how we can be able to bring more young people into leadership. Because you see, for us, with the high unemployment rate, very many young people don't get your opportunity ya kwenda ku run for elections because of the big budget that comes with the campaigns. So with Uamuzi, we have a very nice feature called Uongozi. So with Uongozi, this is a feature where we've given the leaders a platform where they can showcase what they're doing for their people, but at the same time, when it comes to election, they'll be able to sell their manifestos and their policies directly to their people. So this is a very cheap way of campaigning, but at the same time, with our election in 2022, our election we never talked about tribal alignings, but we talked about issues. And now with Uamuzi, we are trying to see how can we be able to escalate this conversation. Sure. Because now it's only through such spaces that when we give a young person as an equal opportunity for them to freely sell their agendas and their manifesto to their people, then it means we are going to talk about issues, and we're not going to talk about where you come from, your tribe, or any other thing. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, that was quite elaborate, right? Amazing. So, quick question to Mr. Muthomi. You yourself seem very young, but you're making giant steps out there, and you're making real impact into how education systems approach their curriculum in terms of equipping young people like myself to be ready for the employers. So what advice would you give to aspiring tech entrepreneurs like ourselves? What would you tell our audience that's listening to this and they're like, wow, I need to get into this space? You know, what advice would you give?
So in order to answer this question, there are two types of entrepreneurs, and it depends on the kind of entrepreneurs we have in the room. How many people in this room would want to be employed in tech-enabled jobs, or you want to found a startup that is tech-enabled? Please raise your hand.
Yeah, I'm Tekwa CEOs. Wow.
In tech. Okay. So I see there's more people interested in tech. Hello? Yeah. I see there's more students interested in tech than those not. So let me answer that question, assuming the majority are interested in tech. So before you build a technology solution in Africa, and this is from personal experience, you have to understand the local context. What do I mean by this? Don't just look at the success of Uber, Amazon, Facebook, and then replicate that here, because it's not going to work. You have to understand what are the local problems and there's nothing new under the sun. So you have to look at what has been done before and how you can improve on that. Because a lot of entrepreneurs fall into this trap of, oh, ChatGPT is out, so you want to replicate what ChatGPT has done, yet you're not aware of the underlying challenges we are facing as a country. One of them is, of course, the reason why ChatGPT came about was because Microsoft was invested heavily in OpenAI, and a lot of those resources went into compute. Compute is just basically supercomputer, the cloud is of it too. So that is a very expensive venture. So you kind of look at this context and see, okay, can I partner with a company that has done that before? Or can I be involved in educating people on Gen AI? So that's what I mean, not to say that it's impossible. We ourselves are in the AI space. So that's an important, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs in sessions give generic advice. So I decided, let me give from personal experience, understand the local context. And let me conclude by saying this. There's something I learned from someone I work with. And this is that if you're building for the West, focus on people's fantasies. So for instance, getting people to space, that's a fantasy. And when building here, focus on people's desire. So what are people's desires here? For instance, Safaricom has internet, and then we have Starlink that also came up. And the reason why a lot of people are moving towards Starlink is because it's affordable. So people don't care necessarily about the 5G at the moment, but they want affordable internet that is reliable. They don't care they don't care so much about the technicalities of it, but the problem that you're solving for them. So even when building a product, don't focus on the technical aspect of it when pitching it to your customers. Focus on how that product is solving a problem for the society. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Joshua Barrow, and you yourself, you have mentioned about the enormous potential, not only locally, but in the continents. So what advice would you give to ambitious young people in this room and those who are viewing us online? What advice would you give with such a lens, a privileged lens that you have into what we are transitioning into as a continent? What is that advice you'll give somebody who's just barely starting?
First of all, to understand your context, as we have been told, and the context that we are is a heavily neo-colonial context. So it's one of the enduring legacies of colonialism. We'll find it in tech. So that's why you see in manufacturing, for example, we are a raw material producer. Even when these guys were developing ChatGPT models, they were Kenyans. But then the same way you used to develop raw materials during colonialism is the same way we are developing this technology and then shipping it to the West and then them selling to us at a very hefty price. So to understand your context is really critical in terms of tech. To understand the fact that ride-hailing companies, platforms, companies like the one you told about, Uber and Bolt, the same model that they use here is not the same model that they use in the West and in Europe. I know the EU is even trying to force them to make sure that how you pay your driver's commission here in Berlin, here in England, is the same way you should be paying in Nairobi. So gig work is not very accommodative for Africans, young people. However, we are making strides. One way we are making strides is just doing what we are doing right now. Explaining to you guys that tech is an enabler. Tech is there to solve our problems. However, remember that we did not participate in the first industrial revolution, during the steam, in the second during electricity, in the third during the dot-com era, and now in the fourth, the artificial intelligence, the self-driving cars. We are still importing a lot of our know-how, a lot of our knowledge here in Africa. So one of the things that I would really encourage you is just to develop that pride as you are an African and build models that solve African problems. Secondly, as you are going into gig work, remember it's exploitative, but put your best foot forward. We did a project some time back with GIZ, and we developed a living wage indicator. So the minimum that you're supposed to be paid, anybody, as long as you're a worker, is 15,000. But if you are living in Nairobi, a living wage for Nairobi is 25,000. However, if you are employed in a certain organization in the US, and then they ask you, how much would you like us to pay you? Go to that living wage indicator by GIZ and put in the qualifications that you have and also the job description that they want you to have, and then come up with something substantive so that you can say, hey, what I am telling you is not, I've just not come up with something out of the blues. This is how you pay your own people in the West, and this is how we should be paid. I should not be paid less money just because I'm an African, yet I'm a developer just like any other. So the pride and making sure that the enduring legacies of colonialism do not continue in this generation. Let us stop it to the millennials, but to the Gen Z, the same way you put a fist against the government is the same way we should put a fist against neocolonial tendencies and very predatory tech companies from the West.
Okay, thank you. We are winding up, and I just wanted our panel to speak more into how then we can get into these enormous opportunities that we keep hearing about. And to Mr. Joe, you have been a mentor and a leader for a while now. And we know that Kenya is 90% informal, and we are trying to embrace technology so that we can be more productive. So that creates a lot of opportunities for us as young people who are in the tech space to chip into that culture of technology for productivity. What is your advice, and what are the key areas we can focus on as students to continue to ensure that we bridge the digital divide gap in Kenya?
Well, I'll give a story. I think this is the best way to connect this. We had one of our partners on the Founders Hub. Microsoft has a program where we support startups to build technologies using the Microsoft solutions. And the idea was there's a lot of skills in Kenya, especially in education among teachers. However, the opportunities seem not to be here, but are across the world. So these guys called Mwalimu Connect quickly came up with an idea: let's put a job board, connect Kenyan teachers with job opportunities across the globe. And the first connection that they had came with challenges. Oh, do they have the right skills to teach the curriculums overseas? So they looked at, okay, fine, let's review the curriculum, and But wait, do they also have the digital skills to use technology in teaching and learning in the classroom using the 21st century learning design? Then that's where the questions start coming in. Then the question becoming, do they have access to devices? Do they have access to internet and connectivity? The best way for us to start closing this digital divide, it starts in education. As we said, and even the KEPSA team did mention, a lot of our students, a lot of people in the workforce today have gone through basic, primary education, secondary education, and some tertiary. Be it TVETs, be it vocational training institutes, we are a skilled nation as it is. So the challenge is, during the skilling, where did we leave behind digital literacy? This content is freely available for each and every one of us. Yes, we, probably most of us in this room, have the privilege of accessing a computer lab. And probably there are others out there who, many, do not have such similar access. So the aim really is, it has to start with we who have the literacy skills to go out there and skill among others. And I wish there was a lady who was here, she was supposed to be in the panel also, and works with students to build their career skills, and digital skills falls under it. We've seen and we've partnered with KEPSA, we've partnered with M-Pesa Foundation, we've partnered with Mastercard Foundation to build this literacy skills in our public and private institutes within Kenya. And starting with the basics of how to use a computer, all the way to the advanced conversations of how do you use artificial intelligence. And so we're really working very closely with the Ministry of Education to close that gap. And even as we speak, there's programs that we're yet to bring to market, where we'll be training all the teachers in Kenya on how to use technology in the classroom, and even more so to use artificial intelligence tools so that we can leapfrog. As he did mention, we were not part of first revolution, second, third, but here in the fourth one, we can actually play a role in it, and transform our education sector, transform our digital sector to become more and more advanced, jumping all the gaps in between.
Sure. Wow. Wonderful insights right there. And now to my final question. We have heard a lot today. We have been mentored. We have been exposed to opportunities not only in the nation, but also out there. And I'm sure as a student leader, you have heard about all of this. And my question is, what would be the next go-to thing to ensure that you continue to mentor the students in alignment with our discussions today? What are the new things that we need to embrace as students in order to ensure we keep abreast in this new revolution? So that would be my question to you, Tyrus.
All right. Thank you. I don't necessarily think there's anything new that has to be done other than forming a mental capacity to keep on learning. We get to points in our lives where we feel the knowledge that we have is enough to get us through the day. And we feel like through the day is enough, but it isn't. We've seen and we've been told that continuous learning is something that the industry right now is currently looking for. And it's the same thing I'll iterate over and over again. Sit down, find something new, find something that interests you, learn. After you learn, go show a friend. Make sure your friend can also, build your friend as well. Make sure they learn something, they show you. And it's only with that spirit that we also get to see Ubuntu working for us, humanity for others. I learn something, I show you. You learn something, you show me. And in the end, we build each other up. So my advice to everyone listening would be, build yourself, learn. Learning does not necessarily mean sit in front of a screen and cram everything you're seeing. Find how you learn and learn. Yeah.
So, wonderful insights right there. And as students and as people who are continuously learning, because learning is not just for students, we're all learning. I'm sure you have had wonderful insights that will go and action even after this event. So that brings a close to our panel discussion today. I hope you learned something. And I don't know if we can get a photo. We can get a photo? Yes, you can get a photo with this wonderful panel. Yes? Yes, is there a burning question, maybe? Going once, going twice? A question? There's a question right there. Sorry.
Hello. My name is Samuel. I had a question about uongozi. Let's say I'm just common mwananchi, but I'm interested in being a leader. How are you able to like filter through, or like as long as I do something nice and take a photo and post it there, does that count? Will that be there as a record for me, or is it for specific people who have shown leadership, who post there? Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So on our uongozi feature, you have an opportunity to either sign up as an incumbent or as an aspirant. Because as I told you, this is a feature that we also want people to use for elections, to campaign. So what we are doing is, we realize that when people use their platforms like X to do their campaigns or to set their agendas, it depends with how many followers you have. So for example, you can have, maybe let me take an example of Langata, because I'm a vote of Langata. Jalango is my MP, and Jalango has like 2 million followers. But at the same time, you'll find people like 8 other people who are running for that same position. So probably on X, Jalango has 2 million people. You'll find another aspiring leader who has 2,000. You'll find another one who has 50,000 and another one who has 100,000. So meaning when you use your social platforms to campaign, it means you are not on the same level playing field. Kuna moja already yako juu ya mwingine. But now with our beautiful feature uongozi, when you sign up with, when Jalango signs up as an incumbent MP Langata, and you sign up as an aspirant MP Langata, then it means if we have 50,000 people from Langata who've signed up on our platform, then all of you guys are going to get access to the same 50,000 people. So meaning we are going to put every single person on the same level playing field for you to be able to sell your agenda, sell your manifesto, connect with your constituents, and just be able to understand what they really want. Because also by engaging with them, that's when now you can be able to use their insights and their data to be able to come up with a beautiful manifesto. Because even so many times through engaging with people like lawyers, I realized that there are some lawyers who write manifestos for leaders. So meaning when it comes to implementing these manifestos, it's going to be a very big challenge for you. So by engaging with these people, then it means you're going to have a people-driven manifesto. Meaning even when it comes to implementing this manifesto, then these people are going to help you to implement it. So you can sign up as an aspiring leader, but also when you now get into office, now you can just change to an incumbent. Yeah.
I think we could take one last one, one very last burning one, then we can go.
So hi, my name is Beryl, and my question is about tech. So I've never been really interested in going in the line of tech, and my course doesn't really involve that. So my question is it, can I just know the basics, or is it really a necessity for me to develop the interest in tech and take that route?
So when you're running a technology company, you don't have to be an expert at technology. All you need to do is identify a co-founder who you could partner with, perhaps maybe you own 50%, give them 50% or a certain percentage of the company, and they know the tech, and that's how you work together. Because here's the thing, if you're running a technology company, and let's assume you're very technical, but you're not good with talking to people, like engaging in such forums, then it's going to be very difficult to sell your business. Because technology, that is product development, but that's not the business. The business is in talking to people, in pitching your solutions to potential customers and potential investors to raise money for your business.
Sure. I have
I'd say technology is an invasive disruptor in every sector. I think if you look at any sector today, technology has embedded itself right through and through. So if you're talking, you want to become a journalist, you can't run away from technology. Say you want to become a farmer today, if you want to farm at scale, you can't run away from technology. There's no industry you'd run to that has no technology embedded into it. So the question is, what industry do you want to be in? What is the technology that is being used in that industry? Because it also varies. And tie your skills together with that technology. Build your knowledge. Because the challenge, and I faced this during my campus years, technology is so wide. You can't learn everything, but you can learn what is relevant for a specific sector or a specific industry that will differentiate you from everyone else. There's a lady who was speaking earlier, and she's a lawyer, but has infused technology into her law, and she's completely differentiated herself. I have student ambassadors in Tunisia who are medical students, but have infused artificial intelligence into their learning, and now building solutions that are and diagnostic solutions based on their medical knowledge and their tech knowledge. So the question is, what will make you unique with the technology? And I'm sure the passion will show up.
Thank you.
Maybe I can just add something to that. Myself, I'm not a techie. I'm an non-technical founder. And I've done this project. This is the third time I'm doing it, and I failed twice. And before that, I had a friend that was helping me running the tech side of it. But you see, nowadays I do a lot of mentorship because, they say experience is the best teacher. And the experience that I've gotten through my journey, I'd rather just disseminate this information to some of you people. That's why I do a lot of mentorship. And I normally tell people, when you're starting something, look at three things. One is a problem. Ensure that the problem that you want to solve is a real problem. Two, look at the passion, because passion is what will help you start all over again whenever you fail. And three, have a team. Because they say, as he said earlier, when you walk alone, you'll walk fast. But when you walk with others, you'll walk far. So what I did is, when I was starting now the project the third time, I came up with a structure, and I decided to get the basic knowledge about technology, so that even when I get my team on board, at least I'll be able to give them direction on what I really require. I have a very nice lead engineer who's our CTO. He's a very good technical, he's very techie. I'm still trying to help him become a good leader, because also we are really big on mentorship. So we don't just mentor people outside, but also in our team. And once I was able to share with him my vision and the objectives that we want to achieve, then it was easy for him to now grasp it and now change it into tech. And now it's easy for him to now sell this idea to the other people that he's trying to lead on the team. So just have the basic knowledge about technology. Have someone who will help you achieve this, someone who's more techie, and there's nothing that will stop you from achieving your goals, especially if you're passionate about what you're doing. Yeah.
Can I also add something very quick? You can tell you are very passionate about technology. So what is technology? It's basically the application of scientific knowledge to solve a practical problem. So you just identify a practical problem. Maybe it's some guy carrying a load, and then you bring a scientific intervention. Maybe it's a wheel that is going around, and you will have solved a problem. So C.S. Lewis, a Christian author, when he was asked, maybe you may have read Chronicles of Narnia, he was asked, why do you believe in God? And he said, I believe in God because the same way I believe in the sun, not because I see it, but because through it, I see everything else. So bringing this to the context of technology, we must believe in technology because not only because we see it, but because through it, we can see everything else. That's the whole talk about digital transformation. You mentioned digitalization. So digitization is just making sure that, so there's digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Digitization is just, if somebody is using a paper, transferring it to be soft copy. Digitalization is if you used to send out memos, you start doing Google Meets or sending out through emails, that digitalization. And then digital transformation is your very business model is the same way your model is around finances. So the same way digital transformers have their model around technology and digital transformations. So find a practical problem and find a scientific way, an application of solving it.
Amazing, wonderful insights, right? Now, the guests will be here, and I'm sure we'll have, they will be able to answer the rest of your questions. So I'd like I'd like us to clap for our panelists today as they stand up and wave goodbye to us from the stage, and as they walk out of the stage. Yes, a photo, very important, very important.